Welcome to Freya's Frith, my channel about Northern Heathenry. This channel is about my research, opinions, modern day practice, where to find your own sources of information and masculinity, looking at the heathens of the Viking Age for answers in the modern days. Today I want to cover two things in one go. First, a general overview of Norse heathenry, what's about, what's important, and second, how these beliefs shape my own spiritual path and how I personally see and practice it. So, let's get started. Let's begin with the gods. Now, are the old Norse and Germanic gods real? Well, to an extent, yes. There's an excellent video by Ocean Keltoy called What Can We Know of the Gods? He goes into this question from a theological perspective far better than I could summarize here. But I'll say this, within heathenry the gods are experienced as real. We might not have empirical proof, but that's not the point. The reality of the gods is relational. They are known through interaction, through fostering, and the gifting cycle. Most heathens don't worship all the gods equally. Instead, we build personal relationship with certain deities, the ones whose nature and character resonate with us. For me, I was immediately drawn to Freyr. No surprise there, considering the name of this channel. Freyr embodies peace, prosperity, freedom, rulership, fertility, and virility. I also feel pulled towards Thor, Holda, and occasionally towards Odin, though with Odin I tread carefully. He's a powerful force with many aspects, and that's all I will say about that. Next are the Landwights, or Landvetir, the spirits of the land. These are spiritual beings connected to places, forests, rivers, mountains, even the soil beneath our feet. It's a deeply animistic belief, meaning that the world itself is alive and full of spirit. Personally, I don't claim to have direct contact with the Landwights, and I leave that to those with a more shamanic practice. But I still respect the Landwights. It means I treat nature with respect. I avoid leaving trash behind, reduce pollution where I can. I try to leave every natural place at least as good as I find it. And most importantly, I enjoy being in nature. It's not about perfection, it's about reciprocity and respect. Ancestor veneration is another part of Northern Heathenry. The Norse and Germanic people believed that their ancestors continued to exist close to the living, watching over, guiding, and protecting their descendants. They honored them through rituals, offerings, and feasts, acts that strengthen kinship, bonds, and remind the community of where they came from. Personally, I give thanks to my ancestors. Without them, I wouldn't exist. Some heathens try to contact their ancestors directly, and that's a valid path, but it's not one I follow. For me, gratitude is enough. When it comes to our written sources, the Eddas and the Sagas, I don't take them literally. If you've seen Ocean Keltoy's video The Sky is Literally a Skull, you know what I mean. He explains mythic literalism, the idea of reading mythic text as if they were scientific or historical accounts, and why that doesn't work. Take the creation story of Ymir's slaying and the creation of the world, for example. It could be a poetic way of describing the end of the Ice Age, the thawing of the world, the birth of new lands from the body of ice and frost. It's a myth as metaphor, not a physics lesson, but a reflection of deep truth about change and creation. Also, I do not believe that the first humans, Ask and Embla, were created from trees. While this is suggested by their names, which mean so much as ash tree and elm tree, or as is stated in the Prose Edda, to me this seems to be something about evolution and how humans were raised from animals to more developed creatures. I do not believe we are like Pinocchio, made from wood. Similarly, I don't believe Ragnarok is a literal prophecy of the end of the world. To me it reads as a poetic closure to the old faith, a bridge between heathenry and the coming of Christianity. That doesn't mean the Old Norse didn't believe in great battles between Aesir and Jotnar that were fought. They likely did. But I think the poem itself serves as a symbolic purpose, a way to make sense of religion's transition. The stories of the gods, their adventures, rivalries and mistakes, aren't literal history. They're lessons, reflections of human and divine experience, and ways of understanding divine nature. The Havamal, the sayings of the High One, is one of the most famous parts of the Poetic Edda. We don't know whether the Norse treated it as a moral guide, but some verses align closely with known cultural values, especially around hospitality, honor, and prudence. Personally, I see it as valuable advice, even today. Not everything in the Havamal's moral instruction, some parts, like Odin's spells, are more like boasting. But other verses carry timeless wisdom about how to live, think, and how to treat others. Plots and festivals were, and still are, central to heathen practice. Historically, blots were communal rituals, offerings to the gods, the ancestors, and the landwides, often accompanied by feasting and toasting. They were held at seasonal points, Jule, midsummer, winter nights, and other times of agricultural or social importance. Their purpose was simple: reciprocity, the gifting cycle, giving to the gods so that the gods might give in return, a sacred exchange. Today, modern heathens adapt these rites in many ways. Some hold large community gatherings, while others, like me, practice alone. I perform my blots solitarily, marking seasonal changes when they feel right, not by the calendar. For instance, for me the autumn doesn't start on a date, but when leaves start falling and the weather becomes chillier. Then morality in Northern Heathenry is an interesting subject because unlike Christianity, it doesn't come with a fixed moral code. The Poetic Edda doesn't spell out commandments. Instead, morality was inferred through behavior, through honor, oath, and community responsibility. The few references we do have, like nastrond or korpsbeest, suggest punishment in the afterlife for oath breakers, murderers, and adulterers. But that's one of the few clear moral warnings we see, and it isn't reflected in any other texts. Personally, I follow the values that have survived into this age. See my video on Drangar values for more information. For now, I think this is enough. If you liked this episode, like and subscribe and join me on my journey. And I'll leave you with this blessing. Fertility upon all the good things you sow. May they grow strong, and may your harvest be abundant.